From tiny motorcycles to massive tanks, Italy deployed a wide range of vehicles across World War II battlefield. This video shows them all, from the fastest scouts to the heaviest war machines that shaped Italy's army during the war. Let's begin with light tanks. Fiat 3000. Italy's first attempt at mechanized warfare came in the form of the Fiat 3000. Heavily inspired by the French FT-17 from World War I, it marked the beginning of Italian armored capability. Despite being obsolete by 1940, these tanks were still pressed into action for homeland defense, a testament to Italy's strained military resources and strategic urgency. L333. Small in size and even smaller in survivability, the L333 was among Italy's most common vehicles. These tankettes, resembling sardine cans, were barely armored and carried only machine guns. Still, they were produced in large numbers and deployed across multiple front lines, though often at a great cost. L3LF. Flamethrower variants of the tiny L3 proved just how far Italy was willing to push limited designs. The L3LF carried a towed fuel trailer and transformed the vulnerable platform into a close-quarters nightmare. It earned a fearsome reputation in conflicts throughout Ethiopia and the Balkans. L335. In a desperate effort to counter armored threats, Italy mounted a 20 anti-tank rifle on the L3. The result was this ad hoc vehicle, the L3-200. Limited in armor and mobility, it was hardly a perfect solution, but reflected the improvisation driven by battlefield necessity. L640. Intended as a replacement for the outdated tankettes, the L640 sported a 20 autocannon and improved protection. Deployed in reconnaissance roles, it performed decently, but its light armor and firepower meant it was no match for the medium tanks deployed by the Allies. Medium tanks. M1139. An early stab at creating a true medium tank, the M1139 featured an unusual hull-mounted main gun, limiting its battlefield flexibility. While innovative on paper, in the North African campaigns, it underperformed and was quickly pulled from combat roles. M1340. This model became the backbone of Italian armored divisions in the Desert War. Armed with a 47 cannon, it proved reasonably reliable but suffered from thin, riveted armor plates, which dangerously scattered when hit by enemy shells, exposing crew to lethal shrapnel. M1441. Essentially a refined M1340, the M1441 introduced a more powerful engine, but retained many of its predecessor's structural weaknesses. Despite its incremental design changes, it remained the best Italy could field across the grueling desert front until Axis forces withdrew. M1542. The final model of this medium tank series, the M1542 featured upgraded armor and better armament. Unfortunately, production delays meant it had minimal influence on the war's outcome. By the time it reached the battlefield, Allied superiority was overwhelming. Heavy tanks. P2640. Officially designated a heavy tank, the P2640 realistically straddled medium classification by international standards. It wielded a potent 75 gun and promised much-needed firepower. However, Italy never deployed it in force. Many units were seized by Germany after the 1943 armistice and repurposed for their own defense. Light self-propelled guns. Semovente 4732. Small but agile, this support gun was mounted on the L6 chassis and armed with a 47 cannon. It wasn't powerful enough to reliably counter tanks, but offered solid results in infantry support roles. It gave light Italian units a mobile solution in scattered battlefields. Medium self-propelled guns. Semovente 7518. Broadly regarded as Italy's most successful armored vehicle of the war, The 7518 featured a short-barreled 75 howitzer and a low silhouette perfect for ambushes. Tank destroyers in North Africa often underestimated this vehicle until it delivered devastating blows from concealed positions. Semovente 7534. This upgrade swapped the howitzer for an anti-tank 75 gun, extending engagement range and effectiveness against enemy armor. With more firepower and range, it drastically improved Italian armored tactics, especially when fighting in layered terrain. Semovente 7546. Late in the war, German advisors helped develop this variant with a more powerful, long-barreled 75 cannon. Production began after 1943, but by then, Italy's industrial capabilities were in decline. Only a handful saw service under Italian command before the conflict ended. Heavy self-propelled guns. Semovente 9053. Built on the M14 chassis, this self-propelled gun featured a heavy 90 cannon with extreme penetrative power. Despite being open-topped and scarce in number, its performance as a tank destroyer was formidable. It remains one of Italy's most potent wartime gun platforms. By the way, if you're enjoying the video so far, here's a quick question. Which Italian vehicle do you think is the most underrated of World War II? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you love military history as much as we do, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more content like this. Let's get back to it. Armored cars. Lancia IZM. Designed before World War I, this twin-turreted relic nonetheless found use decades later. Its tough construction and dependable performance made it a go-to platform for colonial garrisons and light reconnaissance tasks, even though it was badly outdated by World War II standards. OB-40. The first in a line of all-wheel drive armored cars, the OB-40 came equipped with 3.8 machine guns. It was most effective in the expansive deserts, where mobility saved lives and fire support didn't have to be overwhelming to be effective. OB-41. Replacing the earlier turret with a 20 autocannon gave the OB-41 real teeth. It balanced firepower and speed in ways few other Axis armored cars could match, making it ideal for reconnaissance crews traversing enemy-held terrain. OB-43. Plans for the OB-43 promised even better firepower using a 47 cannon. However, Italy's surrender put these upgrades on indefinite pause, and only a limited number were completed. Most never left storage. Lancia Lince. Derived from the British Daimler Dingo design, the Lince was Italy's scout car for difficult terrain. Nimble, small, and hard to hit, it played a critical role in gathering intel and relaying messages between frontline units and command posts. AS-37. A utility truck designed for speed in desert conditions, the AS-37 was light, open, and fast. It carried personnel and supplies across the dust-choked expanses of North Africa, often under fire, proving the value of mobility in harsh environments. AS-43. An improvement upon the AS-37, the AS-43 retained its predecessor's agility while adding better armament and simplified construction. Used for rapid raids and long-distance patrols, it became a nightmare for enemy supply lines caught off guard. Trucks and transport vehicles. Fiat 626. Central to the Italian Army's logistics, the Fiat 626 was deployed in virtually every theater. It transported troops, towed equipment, and hauled supplies across Europe and Africa. Soldiers came to trust its mechanical reliability, even during long marches. Fiat 666. This heavy-duty sibling was the backbone for moving large equipment like artillery and fuel tankers. Known for its impressive payload and mechanical durability, it could operate even in punishing terrain with minimal maintenance. Lancia 3RO. A behemoth with 3 axles, This heavy truck was the foundation for several gun platforms and cargo transports. Its size and strength made it indispensable, particularly in moving large artillery batteries and anti-air cannons quickly into position. Lancia RO. An earlier version of the 3RO, the Lancia RO was functional but lacked the hardened performance of its successor. It was serviceable for smaller loads and less demanding terrain, but gradually phased out as heavier trucks became available. Bianchi Miles. This medium truck was standard issue for rear-line logistics, often spotted running supply routes or transporting gear across occupied territories. It resembled similar models used by other Axis forces and filled a much-needed support gap. SPA-38R. A workhorse medium truck used across nearly every front where Italy deployed troops. Its utility was unmatched, and it became a common sight in convoys ferrying ammunition, parts, and fresh recruits to the line. SPA-35. Remarkably nimble for a light truck, the SPA-35 offered frontline support with versatility. Whether carrying radio equipment, patrol squads, or vital spares, it played a central yet often unheralded role in the Italian war machine. SPA-Davank 35. The word Davank means everywhere, and this truck lived up to the name. With all-wheel drive and rugged reliability, it was purpose-built for sand-blasted deserts and muddy rural roads alike. SPA-Davank 41. A refined version of the Davank 35. This model offered more engine strength and hauling capacity. Whether in Libya or the Balkans, it kept moving regardless of enemy shelling or harsh terrain. SPA-Davank 43. The final adaptation of the Davank. This vehicle added support for heavier loads and tougher routes. Soldiers routinely depended on it not just for supply, but sometimes evacuation and artillery towing. SPA-TM40. Specifically designed to tow Italy's heavy artillery, the TM40 was more muscle than machine. Despite its single purpose, its reliability made it an unsung hero of the mobile artillery units. Breda 51. Reliable and rugged, the Breda 51 helped bridge the gap in medium transport needs. While not widely recognized, its role in sustaining logistics under fire was anything but minor. Breda 52. A progressively refined version, the Breda 52 gained a reputation for cold start reliability and combat endurance. It remained useful across all terrains Italy fought in, from icy alpine passes to scorching deserts. Artillery tractors. Breda 61. This truck took on specialized hauling duties. Less about speed and more about dependability, it carried everything from field kitchens to shell crates, making it a fixture in support columns far behind the guns. PAVC P4. Easily one of the most distinctive artillery tractors, the P4 used an articulated frame for extreme off-road mobility. With its tractor-style steering, it crossed terrain few other vehicles dared to reach. PAVC TL31. Rugged and stripped down, the TL31 was tailored for hauling medium artillery across landscapes scarred by shellfire and dust, a vital link between firing crews and ammunition reserves. Ulm 32. A dependable medium truck that always answered the call. It lacked flair but offered utility, moving personnel and munitions between frontline positions and logistics bases, often unnoticed, but always needed. Motorcycles. Moto Guzzi Alce. This motorcycle was standard issue for Italian recon units and infantry messengers. Sturdy construction and easy field maintenance made it a favorite, especially along rough mountain passes and desert trails. Moto Guzzi Super Alce. An improved version of the Alce, this model featured added speed and engine power. Designed for critical communication duties, it played a central role in keeping frontline units connected under dynamic conditions. Moto Guzzi Trialce. A three-wheeled variant adapted from motorcycles, the Trials was essentially a light cargo hauler, used to move radios, ammunition, and small arms through tight alleyways or trench routes where trucks couldn't go. Benelli 500M36. A reliable and swift dispatch motorcycle that often served alongside Moto Guzzi machines. It brought messages, orders, and even wounded soldiers across volatile front lines with surprising efficiency. Gilera Mart. Crafted for rugged wartime use, the Mart boasted a strong power-to-weight profile. Certain elite units preferred it for its combat-grade durability and solid handling on trails where other rides would fail. Miscellaneous Vehicles. Autocannon 102-35. This mobile artillery platform mounted a massive naval gun onto a truck. Though powerful, its stability and protection left much to be desired. Still, it packed a punch in coastal defense roles. Autocannon 90-53. A 9-beam anti-aircraft cannon affixed to a Lancia-heavy truck. Its speed and punch allowed it to double as an anti-tank weapon, feared by enemy armor, highly mobile and fiercely lethal. Autocannon 75-27. Adapting a 75mm field gun onto a truck gave Italy a mobile fire support platform that could relocate quickly after a strike, ideal for responding to fluid battlefield conditions. Autocannon 65-17. A small mountain howitzer mounted on a light vehicle. It offered basic but immediate artillery support, particularly in mountainous regions where standard artillery was immobile. Autocannon 117. Mounting a powerful 100mm howitzer on a truck traded stability for mobility. Vulnerable but devastating if positioned right, it served as a heavy assault tool in the final years. Carro Comando M40. Command variants of the M-series tanks lacked turrets, but came loaded with radios and battle management gear. These mobile HQs coordinated Italy's increasingly complex armored movements. Carro Recupero M-series. Tank recovery vehicles built on M-series chassis helped salvage damaged hardware on active battlefields. Each one retrieved, often under fire, meant one more chance for Italy to stay in the fight.